Hey everybody, welcome to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Mike Catalana along with Dan Fates.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and stick with us through this video. Maybe this will cheer you up.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to cheer you up, but maybe we'll try to clear up some things you're thinking. You're probably going to agree with some of what we have to say, but I think this loss was the worst since Sean McDermott has been the head coach. And they had some bad games where they got blown out, or maybe they could have won. They rarely lose to bad football teams. They are rarely big favorites, anything substantial, and they lose. They not only lost today, they got outplayed, outsmarted, outcoached, everything.
Outclassed, outdisciplined. You would have thought that these were two different, the sidelines should have been different. Like, it was just a complete time. And I'm on the sidelines, and then several times Sean McDermott's pointing at his head. Like, guys, think. And he tried to keep his composure, but there was frustration, Mike, from start to finish. And it starts with Josh Allen and his struggles. He looked lost, kind of forcing it. And it started with the O-line struggle. I know we'll get to that, but Josh just didn't have any rhythm in this game.
And in the second half, he played like Houston playoff game second half,
all the
Josh.
buttons,
He was
mashing the
going,
controller.
and he was frustrated, no doubt about it. But you cannot put the ball on the ground. This was not a game you were down by 14 points and you're trying to make plays. You're only 3 points down or tied for some of the second half, and Allen turned it over twice where they were driving for scores and once deep in his own territory. Now, look, I said how Jacksonville outplayed them. They were inept in many parts of their offensive and special teams game. The hilarious 3 field goal misses and penalties was something you just don't see.
You said it. You tweeted at one point just to put the Benny Hill music over this, because this was a game where, that's so well said, one drive would have won this game.
Yeah.
And the Bills couldn't find 3 positive plays to get going. And I think at times he said they were playing a cover 2 and they made him throw underneath. We heard that about other teams that have done that. He needs to be boring at times and just take what's there instead of trying to be the hero. And he was running for his life, though, today, Mike.
He was. And the thing is, though, we saw a lot of little slip screens. We saw over the middle to Moss or Singletary, and they did throw a lot of short passes. Finally, they realized, I thought for the longest time we missed Diggs as an inactive in this game, and then they started getting the ball to 14.
Another reporter on the sidelines looked at me and goes, hey, that 14 guy's pretty good. They should maybe try and force him the ball a little bit. And that was the other thing, too, Mike. No energy in this game. You've always talked about where motivation goes to die was the old joke about coming to Buffalo.
Yeah.
Motivation died here in Jacksonville. The Bills played uninspired, to say the least. I'm on the sidelines. No emotion on the sidelines. None. At times we've seen Stephon Diggs firing guys up in the sidelines. There was none of that. This was just a game that I think they expected to walk out here, put their helmets on, and walk out with a win. And that just didn't happen.
Yeah, I think if they were coming off, say they would have blown out the Dolphins last week, and they'd be in this great spot, and they played great, and they came here and slept through a game, it would still be unacceptable, but it would be a little more understandable. They won that game last week, and they were certainly were fortunate to win by 15. They played poorly on offense. They got by, and they won against the Dolphins team. They're much better then. But they were coming off that game and coming down here, and it was Jacksonville players after the game saying that they had way more energy than the Bills. That's on the coaching staff. Look, I think McDermott has done an awesome job since he's been here. You know we're Brian Daboll fans, but I would say this. Daboll's got to rethink everything they're doing on that offense, and Sean McDermott's got to think a little bit about maybe the way they approach things. It's been more of a steady, move to the next, don't get too high, don't get too low. I'm not saying get low. I'm saying get angry after this game.
And like I said, we talked about at times the message becoming stale. They played stale today.
Yeah.
That's what it was. This was another game where you're like, well, we're going to win. We're a good team, and that's not how it works. And they can say all the cliches. They're really good at cliches. And they can say this is any given Sunday. This wasn't a sense of the Jaguars played a phenomenal game today. And that
Defensively, they were good.
But the Bills were bad offensively.
Yes, but but you got to give the Jags credit for this. They've been giving up 30 points a game, and they got in attack mode, and they had life. But offensively, the Jags were awful, and they had every opportunity, dare I say, they could have put the game away and were unable to do it. Yes.
Several times. And it goes back and forth. And like I said, Micah Hyde said that they didn't feel like they were ready to play. And that was a quote that right out the start of the press conferences really kind of got a lot of people's attention. He did not say, I want to clear something up. He did not say they weren't prepared to play. He said they weren't ready. I did not see that as an indictment on the coaching staff of like we weren't ready to play. I saw that as he probably saw from the first or second series like we don't have that fire that Deion Dawkins talked about lighting in the second half against Miami. That was once again not there. And we've talked about it before, whether it was I think last week when I was talking with Jen after the game, that it's nice to have that Golden State Warrior third quarter flip the switch. But all of a sudden you go to flip the switch one too many times and it doesn't work. And it wasn't there today.
Yeah, this loss really hurts in many ways. Again, I don't care what the Jags record is. They're an AFC team. It's another conference loss. And, oh no, I'm looking behind me. You know who's right behind us? The New England Patriots.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're right there.
I was saying on the podcast 2 weeks ago that this was the month that they're going to clinch the division. It ain't happening now.
No, this team has some issues. Look, they still have talent. Hopefully they get some offensive linemen back, maybe get Dawson Knox back in the lineup. All those things can be positives. Maybe this will be a wake-up call because they've needed it since that second half of the Titans game where they got pushed around. Though they still had a chance, but they got pushed around. I thought they played lousy against the Dolphins, except for a few big plays. And then this game, an abject disaster against Jacksonville.
All right. We'll give a positive. I liked the defense.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to say that the defense is going to hold Jacksonville to 9 points, you are saying 100 times out of 101 times that the Bills are going to win this game. And that's just what it is. But not only that, it was short fields. It was off the Josh Allen turnovers. It's what they call the sudden change, sudden flip of script. Several times I'm filming Josh coming off the field, and as he's getting to the sidelines, Micah hides there, and he comes in my frame, and he's huddling the defense up. He's getting them together after one of Josh's interceptions, going like, okay, hold him to the field goal. We got to do our job. And then after the Josh Allen fumble, they huddle up again, and Sean McDermott got in there. Like, the defense answered the bell once again. And they're so big on complimentary football. And Josh said it again, like, we scored 6 points. Like, that's not going to win games. But the defense has looked good the last 2 weeks. Albeit against inferior opponents, at least I can say that this defense didn't fold when the offense continued to struggle, because that can wear on a defense.
Oh, yeah.
And they kept coming up after the offense got punched in the face. The defense at least stood back up.
Yeah, they have so much to work on. Like I said, it starts with the coaches because they got to get them in the right spot. But to Dan's point, when the team's not ready to play, and that's on the players.
That's
right?
players.
Because I think the coaches get them prepared. It's got to be on the players.
That's the message. That's what I'm saying. Like you can't. Again, we've had a lot of continuity here. The Bills have played a lot of games as big favorites, and they've won them all. Message this week, maybe the players just didn't respond.
Yeah, they didn't. And this is an embarrassing loss. And like I said, the worst one since Sean McDermott has been the Bills head coach. They've got the Jets next week, but they've got a lot of work to do to get ready for that one. And we'll have complete coverage for you here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel. Once again, we know you're not feeling great, but make sure you subscribe, like, and comment. We appreciate it. For Dan Fates and Jenna Cottrell back at the studios, I'm Mike Catalana. Thanks for watching here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel.